Can't wait to hear from this man. He is from the Boston Globe. He's been to many championship games.
Super Bowls.
He's been to Super Bowls
too.
Sure has.
Whether it's World Series, Super Bowls,
Yeah.
he joins us here on Boston's End of Their Chat. It's Dan Shaughnessy. Hall of Fame writer Dan Shaughnessy has entered the chat. Dan, I just wanted to start off by saying that you have phrased or used the phrase tomato can, and it came back into effect last week in the Texans. So what should we call the Denver Broncos with a backup quarterback in a championship game?
Well, this is a really good fortune for the Patriots. You know, anytime you're playing a guy who hasn't thrown a pass since 2023 in the NFL, that's pretty good. Sean Payton will see this as a challenge. You know that, Joe. You know, he's kind of a hardo. He's going to really show his strength here and manage the game and have a guy just, keep everything easy and quiet, hand off a lot, little screen passes, all that stuff. But any way you look at it, and it's a plus for the Patriots. I mean, it doesn't mean they're going to win the game. It's not automatic. They're going to go out and do it. Hard to win there. They've never won there. Tom Brady 0-3 in the playoffs in Denver. All that stuff all comes back. So it's true. But as one who maybe bets from time to time, you know that the line, they would be favored, and now they're underdogs. And it's all because of this.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Dan, would you say that it could be said that this is the easiest road to a championship of any team in the history of this city?
Ooh.
Well, that's going. I'd have to really go back in the vault and check that out. That's tough. But you had the schedule, which was historic. Last 25, 30 years is right there. I mean, their schedule looks like the NFL draft that's coming up in the spring. That's who they played. One team with a winning record. But in the playoffs, they've played two teams with winning records. They've beaten them both. And admittedly, maybe not at their strength. They were home both times. And the best player in many cases is not there. Nico Collins last week, and, of course, the quarterback this week. So, yeah, you're going to be able to say it's a little bit cushy, but if you're the survivor of the AFC, you're it. You overcame them all, and there is some good fortune in Buffalo getting taken out, Mahomes getting hurt, Burrow getting hurt, all those kinds of things. But, hey, you take advantage of that. This season's a gift for everybody here, and see if they can run with it.
Dan, I'll give you an example just from a few seasons ago. I thought the damn Celtics championship run wasn't that difficult. That one comes to mind. But look, I want to ask you about Drake May, though, because this defense has stolen the show so far in the playoffs. Vrabel, McDaniels, everyone's doing a great job. But Drake May turning the ball over, he hasn't been bad, but he's been a little reckless. I still think we're waiting on the Drake May game. Does it happen this week? Even though the Broncos defense is great, I did see Josh Allen put some numbers up on him, Dan. Do you think this is the Drake May game?
I would not want to go there because, again, his ball security has been an issue. Put on the ground 6 times in 2 games, 3 interceptions. Only 3 of the fumbles were lost, but that's still 6 fumbles and 3 picks in 2 games. Not good, but he had some big-time throws, as we know, in both of those games against pretty good defenses. But you're on the road now, the noise there, it's a new test for him. We'll see how much time he has back there, what Sean Payton comes up with to flummox him. And this is going to be a real test. I don't see this being a big breakout game for him. If he can do what he's done to this point without putting the ball on the ground, we'll take it.
Dan, when you think about both organizations, right, the Patriots, Deflategate, Spygate, any gate you got it, they've had it. The Broncos had too. And Josh McDaniels was there and was a part of it, manipulating the salary cap.
Yep.
But when we look at the two franchises historically, could this be the new rivalry? Bo Nix, when healthy, with the Broncos and Drake May with the Patriots.
I don't see it coming up. I know what you're talking about there. But the fact that don't see him every year, not in a division, kind of far away. I mean, 4 playoff games is a lot, but you're spreading out since 1960. It's not that often that they see these guys in the playoffs. So I don't know. I wouldn't go that far with it. I mean, we thought it was going to be the Bills, and that window may have been closing. We don't know. Not sure where it's going to come from. But you just have to hope New England is back in the arena where they are this year if they can get back to that next year. No guarantees on that.
Let's say that the almost impossible happens and the Patriots lose the game on Sunday. What do you think we're going to be talking about on Monday as the major reason why?
Well, it's going to be a missed opportunity. This is a great year no matter how you cut it, even if they don't win this game. But the opportunity being what it is now, where you're favored on the road, they don't have their starting quarterback. There's going to be a lot of, I can't believe they didn't finish the job and get to the Super Bowl with all the chance, the great opportunity they had here. What would do it? I think, New England's offense struggling against Denver on the road that's the one I worry about more. Their defense is playing really well, and they're up against a quarterback who, I'm not saying this is a gimme or a given, but they should be able to feast on that a little bit. I mean, I got faith that they'll have some stuff, for Stidham that he's not going to be prepared for, no matter how well they try to manage the game. So New England's offense against Denver's defense, if the Pats don't win, I'd worry about that.
Hey, this just popped in my head, and I'll ask another question after this, back to the game. But I'm thinking outside the box here, Dan, because you're a historian. Everyone talks about this quarterback class with Drake May and Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. We'll see if Penix and McCarthy can play or not, right? But do you think that draft class is better or will be better than that 83 draft class? Because everyone says the 83 draft class is the GOAT, right? Do you think this last crop with Drake May and those guys can surpass that, or in your mind, that'll never be beat?
I mean, you're talking Elway, Marino, Kelly right there.
Yeah.
That's tough. And you still got Easton, you got O'Brien, Blattledge played a little bit. So, no, I don't think you can overcome 3 Hall of Famers and all the Super Bowls those guys went to.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe if there's some hardware in there, Drake May gets some rings, maybe I can revisit that question with you. Let me ask you about rebuilds. 2 years ago, these Pats were 3-14, okay? 3 years ago, the Broncos were 5-12. Sean Payton shows up, Mike Vrabel shows up, the world changes. As you see the NFL now, do you feel like rebuilds are happening faster and faster? I remember a day when if you got the coach wrong, you got the quarterback wrong, it set you back a decade plus. Now it seems like they're moving furniture now, and you can turn it around overnight. Do you see it that way?
I always think you could do that in the NFL. It goes back to Pete Rozelle going for parity 40, 50 years ago. He achieved that. But when you live in New England, you had this dynasty for 20 years with Brady and Belichick going. I mean, the Jets were unable to do that. You get the easy schedule every year. Never got better. There were no good quarterbacks in the AFC East for 20 years. I mean, the best one after Brady, I don't know, Tannehill. Yeah. There was really nobody. So we saw teams continue to fail year after year, and Buffalo and New York, they both did that the whole time.
Going into this game, should we be concerned about Will Campbell at all and the issues that he has been having, or is he going to clean that up heading into this game?
It's a really good question, Lucy, and I think that it's definitely an area of concern. Rookie, May's a second-year guy, but effectively a playoff rookie. But Campbell, it's been bad, and they've been home without the noise factor. But he's more than had his hands full. But I mean, I thought the pass rush for Houston was really superior. I don't know that Denver, certainly not the Chargers, would have the pass rush that Houston had. It didn't surprise me, but it was a long day at the office for him. Needs to get better.
Dan, the owner of the Patriots, spoke recently, talked about how, it cost him so much money to make these changes and bring in Mike Vrabel. He also talked about 18-game schedules. Your thoughts on Robert Kraft's comments on the changes he had to make and how much money he had to spend to fix it, and the future of the NFL?
Well, we like it when owners come out and speak, so that's always a good thing. So we don't want to hoot on him too much. But that was an unfortunate segue when he started talking about how expensive this was to make the change and all the assistant coaches they had to pay off. I'm sorry, no one wants to hear that.
That's
the
right.
turnaround that they've had, that's the cost of doing business, and it's their own fault for hiring Mayo in the first place. His own fault. But to his credit, he fixed the mistake. He admitted the mistake, and he fixed it in 1 year. A lot of guys wouldn't do that, so he gets points for that. And it was just an unfortunate thing to say. The 18-game thing, I mean, that's his seat at the table with the Maras and the Rooneys and Jones and all that stuff. So he's playing ball with them. He's a company man when it comes to that seat at the table. This tells you this is what they're going for.
Do you like the international games? Can you find them? Like, are you when a game's on, how are you finding and watching these games? Are you just waiting for the highlights?
I went to London with the Tampa game in 2008. There is no need for this. You cannot find a pair of shoulder pads on the continent of Europe. No one plays the sport. Yeah, they sell out the game. They go. They don't know what they're seeing. They cheer the wrong things. Goodell is obsessed with this to make it a global product, which you could do in the NBA, and they did do. David Stern, Michael Jordan, they made that a global product.
That's right.
Doesn't happen here because they don't play the sport. I don't care how well those games were attended. It's a bad idea. It's costly and makes no sense.
Well, do you think there will be a Super Bowl internationally at some point? Is that where we're headed?
Yes.
If Roger Goodell stays in the chair, yeah, I think so. This is a mission for him. It's like the NBA Cup. Stupid things get put forward, and they can't get them off.
It's important. The NBA Cup is important.
Lucy,
We're going to raise the banner, Dan.
I'm not going to lie, Lucy. I think Super Bowl is child's play. I think they want to put a franchise over there, don't they, Dan? Isn't that the kind of the goal?
I do. I think you're onto something there. It wouldn't surprise me if they go for that. I've never understood it. I can't stand it. It's a bad idea.
All right, so let's go back to the game here. Let's get into gameplay. Look, I wasn't in town when Jared Stidham was here. I imagine he was forgettable, right? I know that being on the outside, I remember the chatter of this guy could be the heir apparent to Brady. That was not the case. They bring in Cam Newton, the rest is history. But I don't see a world, Dan, personally, in which this guy goes out and pulls a Nick Foles. I really don't. I think the Patriots, as long as they protect the football against this good defense, it could be low scoring for sure, but I think the Patriots win this. Do you? How do you sort of see the game playing out?
I'm with you on this, Travis. What you say makes sense. I mean, these things don't often make sense. That's why they play the games, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, they should be able to take advantage of his inexperience in this role. Never started a playoff game. He's only started like 8 games in the league.
Right.
Presents as a guy who's been a little too comfortable being a backup for 7 years, and that's a great job. Hold the clipboard, everybody else does the work and gets hurt and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, but it doesn't mean he's not a meatball. He's not a terrible QB. I mean, he's held this thing for 8 years. People like him. Good practice player, good team player, all that stuff, and can manage the game. That's what they're going to ask him to do. But it's on New England to not let a game manager beat them.
All right, Dan, I got a couple more. I got a baseball one I want to throw at you, but just quickly, I believe you have a relationship with Bill Belichick. Have you talked to him?
Not since all this. You know, we talked once or twice during this season, but not since things got really interesting here. No.
Okay, just wanted to know because I think he was the one who didn't want Jared Stidham. You know, they ended up bringing in Cam Newton. If you remember that, it was I don't know if that was personal or whatnot. I don't know if you have anything on that.
We need to know.
Yeah, if you saw, he had things to say before the Charger game because he knew they could own Herbert. He's never had a lot of respect for Herbert, not in a bad way, but just thinks he's beatable. The way he thought Bledsoe was beatable, the way you could just tell the quarterbacks he liked and didn't like, and Herbert's not one of them. So you had that. He's been pretty quiet since then, but he's a Sean Payton guy, as is Parcells, and you know, I think that he values Payton, and it wouldn't hurt him for him to see Payton beat this team.